Good afternoon, brothers. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Vijay, Jeevan, RT-14.
Good afternoon, sir.
Audible to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Very much audible, sir.
Okay. The problem statement which we have projected is basically we are looking for a ammunition. It's a you can say all-in-one, modular and scalable for multi-purpose. And this ammunition we are looking for all kinds of flying objects like UAVs, drones. As on date in India, we do have capability of UAS, but everybody does not have access to this explosive and then ammunition part of it. So we want something to develop for everybody, that this ammunition can be taken by any of the vendors or anyone who is coming into this thing. They can try and test it on whatever flying object they have. So we want a compatible with all the flying objects, and it should be of multi-purpose. The same ammunition in different models, anti-personnel, anti-vehicle, anti-tank, various categories, various weights, so that it can be used with any of the flying objects from drone to UAVs. That is broad requirement.
So request the startups can ask a question or the query in case they have. So we'll respond to those queries.
Good afternoon, sir. We are Trigger Labs. My name is Gagan. So, as I understand, with the last statement you made, as we understand, these are supposed to be swappable payload types, and these have to be swappable across multiple drone platforms as well. Is that the idea?
Correct.
Understood. Thank you.
Hi, this is Kashyap from Hyderabad. Am I audible?
Yes.
So, sir, I mean, you have very broadly defined that this should be usable across so many platforms, but there will be a huge difficulty in obtaining, several interface data. Like, for instance, mechanical interface data could be different. Software protocols between, the ammo and different UAs could be different. Then even the safety and arming constraints will be there. So how, I mean, even from weight, swap parameters, if we look at that, maximum payload capacity, then there's so many things are different for each of the platform. So how do we integrate, all of this into one? Because there'll also be proprietary issues. There'll be many things to develop a common ammo for all of this. How can this be done? I mean, we will need a lot of information for pretty much what range of class of unmanned aerial systems are being used. Like quadcopters to fixed wing. Each of them will have different parameters. So a lot of information will be required.
Sorry, I didn't get me. It's a basically detachable payload. As far as that integration with the system per se, I don't think we are looking for that. We are various UAVs. They can just carry it and drop it wherever it is required. or the any testing which is required, even that integration if required at a later stage, that can be looked after at the later stage. As of now, this ammunition is basically the various weights, various modules, various types of this thing, and it can be this thing clubbed together to make different weights, sizes, shapes, so that it can be taken up by any of these drone quadcopters or the UAVs.
Okay. But any
This is
range
related to
that
ammunition,
will be given,
that
like,
UAVs. UAVs is basically various capacities, like small drones carry, let's say, 500 grams, and the UAVs up to 15 kg. Then various different modules of different shapes and size, they can be clubbed together and it can be made one. That's why we say modular, and the various kinds of ammunition can be there.
Okay.
Anmol, in case
Yes,
no
sir.
further queries, we move to the.
I have queries,
yeah.
sir. I have raised my hand.
Yeah, please. Yeah, please go
Sir,
ahead.
my name is Abhishek Jain from Zeus. One thing that I did not understand about modular is whether you want to integrate the weapon on field with the warhead, or one single warhead would be supplied, just that they would be same form and factor for different roles.
Sorry, come again.
Yeah. Sir, so there are two ways to make modular. One is that the entire ammunition has same shape, form and factor, but it is already integrated to be used. The other is that the warhead is kept separate, the fuse is kept separate, and it is fitted on the field. We believe that fitting on the field is a difficult task when explosives are involved. So modular would mean that we would be storing a specific type of ammunition. Am I correct?
The second, we are actually looking for the second this thing. Fuse and various modulars, I mean, yes, form, fit, factor, that is okay. It should be something ready to be integrated or ready to be taken up by the UAVs. But as far as that fuse is concerned, if let's say you integrate ab initio with the various types of ammunition, then aim will not be achieved. Aim is on the spot, whatever kinds of modules you want to fix, and thereafter you put that fuse and it's taken up.
Understood, sir. So basically, we will store it separately. We would first integrate the ammunition fully, and then we will integrate with the UAV and then do the mission.
Yes.
Right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Understood, sir. Sir, there is a little confusion regarding how many weights do you want? Is there something you have decided or you will decide later?
As of now, we have not decided. Once we get the proposal, then we will think over it.
Okay, sir. And I think you also
Even
want
let's say-
programmable. Sorry, sir. Please continue, sir.
Sir, shall we go ahead with the second challenge?
Just
I have
two
one
more
question.
questions. I have
I
two
have
more
a question.
questions.
Yeah.
1 minute, please. Let me, if I can complete.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Then there is one more thing you have written, that insensitive munition compliance should be there. Is it compulsory? Because the technology changes when we do insensitive munition. It is very safe, but the technology is different than sensitive munitions.
Mr. Abhishek, I think we lost you in between. What exactly is the query? Can you please just repeat?
Sir, you have written that the munition should have insensitive munition compliance. So we assume that this is compulsory because the design for sensitive and insensitive is different, and insensitive is very safe to handle. So is that compulsory?
Yes, because it will be a modular and it has to be stored in bulk. So that is why it has been mentioned that way.
Understood, sir. Then last two, sir. One is that you have written for testing and certification MIL 810. I believe that EMI EMC also would be part of this. You would not accept anything which is not certified by EMI EMC. Am I right, sir?
Yes, absolutely.
Understood, sir. Sir, not understood this 1,000+ simulated scenarios. Because the seekers are only lasers. So if there are EO seekers, then there can be scenarios. This is something that is not understood, sir, if it can be clarified.
Where is it mentioned? Can you specify the
The
para or something?
1,000+ simulated scenarios is mentioned, sir.
Where exactly?
Yes, sir, I am just telling you.
Yeah. 14 point safety mechanism validation.
Testing and certification. I think the point phase 2.
Yeah. 14.8.
Can I ask now?
Just I have one more question.
We
So this,
will.
yeah.
Yeah.
You will give the answer later, sir, for these scenarios?
Yes.
No problem, sir. And then the final question, and then I'll stop, sir. You have also written that there should be blast radius and penetration, etc. Sir, how would we measure that? Is there something that would be told later? How would we measure this, say, lethality, radius, or penetration? Or that would be later?
That we will let you know.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm done, sir.
Can I ask now? Can I ask now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so from what I understand, we are trying to make a USB kind of interface for drones where any kind of ammunition can be attached to any kind of drone, and we will have an interface on the drone as well as we will have a pluggable interface on the ammunition. So it's plug and play across all kind of USBs that we have. Is that the correct understanding? I asked you. Is that the correct understanding?
Yes, correct.
Okay, now in this, what is the scope we have? Is it just the release mechanism, or is it the targeting part also has to be done from the ammunition itself? For example,
As of now, release mechanism only. But if you
Okay.
can make it smart, is always good.
Perfect. Now, in terms of technology, right? What kind of flight controllers are we dealing with? Are we have PixHawk? Are we have PX4? Which kind of flight controllers or autopilot, or is it like most of them are custom flight controllers that we're dealing with? If you have some idea on that part.
As of now, you can consider it for drones to UAVs. All
Yeah, but
encompasses.
Yeah, but do you know which kind of flight controller do they use? Do they use open source like Autopilot P or PixHawk 4, or do they come up with their own proprietary flight controllers? In most of the case, let's say 70% case.
This, as of now, I am not aware. This we will let you know.
No problem. If you can have that information, that will be help in designing a universal compatibility layer. Plus, is there a preference on the communication protocol? Is it okay to have a PWM signal, or do you want a UART based bidirectional signal from the ammunition back to the UAV, so it can give you whatever data is coming from the UAV to the ammunition back to the drone, or it can be just a one-way PWM signal, or you want a USB or a UART or serial based communication between them, or that is up to us to decide.
You can decide.
Actually, I didn't understand. We are just talking about this ammunition, where this communication part is involved in it.
For the ammunition to release, right? For example, the ammunition will be attached to some kind of drone which is not built by the same company that is building the ammunition, correct? So there has to be some communication for the release mechanism and at what time it is releasing, when fire, all that, right? So
So whatsoever is existing as on date, that only will be applicable.
okay, no problem. Understood. Thanks. If everybody is done with the questions, sir, shall we go ahead with the second challenge?
Sir, one question only. Since it is about explosives, what about the licensing part? Should I repeat my question?
नहीं हम बनवा तो इसी
Sir, I'm just repeating my question since it is about ammunitions and it is very restricted area. So are the startups supposed to have the licenses in place or how to go about that?
What I can advise you, I'm Colonel Dipender, I'm from Army Design Bureau. What I can advise you is there are about 16 to 17 existing people who have got a license for ammunition in India. Though we understand out of them, only 4 of them are using that license actually to produce ammunition. In our other IDEX projects, which are now going on, startups have gone into JV with them or taken their support. Now, we don't expect you to have a license in the beginning of the project. However, once we go for prototype development has been completed and need to go for procurement, you should have a steady source of that ammunition. How do you get it will be left to your choice because again, when you go into JVs and all, equity and all is involved, so in which we don't get involved into. I hope I've answered your answer.
Yes, sir. Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Sure.
Sir, sir, shall we proceed with the second challenge?
Yes, Anmol, we can move into the second one.
Sir, AI enabled multi-agent.
No, that is modular soft kill and hard kill integrated counter unmanned aerial system.
Right, sir. Sir, is it the problem statement number 1?
नहीं
No, Anmol, it is the modular soft kill and hard kill RT-14 that is
counter US kit. The counter US.
Sir, just a moment, sir.
Nitin sir.
Hi, Anmol. Sorry, am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Sir, the challenge name which you're mentioning is not here in the list, sir.
No issues. So we can just wait for the noodle officer from RT8. So he's just
Sir,
joining. So once he joins, then we'll resume. Huh?
sir, can you please confirm the name of the challenge again, sir?
We'll start with the development of AI module for automatic recognition.
Right,
First,
sir. Sir, please confirm if the PDF is visible on screen, sir.
Yes, I can you hear me? I've just joined.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yeah, just give me a sec, please.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
Yeah, I just can you confirm whether you can hear me, please?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear, sir.
Yes. So now I'm okay. I mean, and I can see the PDF for the targeting module.
Right, sir.
So we can now start. I think.
Right, sir. Right, sir. All yours, sir.
Sir, Lieutenant Nitin here, sir. Sir, we'll just request that you can just first give out what the problem or the challenge entails, and thereafter we'll take on the queries which are there from the startup.
Right. So, quick 2 minutes. I will, while it is written in the problem statement, but I'll quickly summarize. The intent is to create a AI-enabled module, which is powerful enough to help the unmanned aerial systems in service or under procurement to carry out three functions, predominantly target detection, then their recognition, and then their precise identification. Which is to say that you can use that module on any UAS, and whatever the UAS is seeing in whatever using whatever sensor, it can be an EO sensor or a IR sensor or a TI sensor, and whatever input it is fetching, it is able to make the output intelligent for the user who is sitting at the GCS level to carry out the basic functions of target detection, recognition, and identification. So this is in general the problem statement requirement. Now I will be happy to give answer the queries which are specific or related to a specific aspect.
I have one question, a few questions. My
Yeah,
first question
a
is,
bit loud, please, because I'm sorry, I'm somewhere in the outside. So
okay, can you hear me now? Hello,
yes, very lightly,
hello.
but yes.
Okay, okay. Um, Speaking loudly. Now is
Yeah,
it better?
yeah, it's okay now, sir.
Okay, okay. So my first question is, so from our startup, for example, we would like to train the AI module to on these different targets, all the possible targets. We would need to train the AI so that it can learn to identify these targets. So can you give some insight on how we can set this up, this testing? I guess this would be after proposing to you, then we talk together and see what tools we would need, maybe some man-made targets or something so that we can train. Do you understand what I'm asking?
Okay. So I will answer. The query pertains to the data for training and the methodology for training, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Now, so currently, my assumption or expectation is that the a very sort of lightweight, customized model is created by the developer, and obviously he has to prove the concept using open source data or open source data which is available. Thereafter, the army is in parallel running a program, which is a army specific program which is able to collect data for about 46 classification of objects, which are predominantly targets for us, which are for our adversaries through a different program, ultimately creating a sort of a data repository or a data lake, if we call it loosely. Now once the basic model is ready and trained on some sort of open source data, uh, and thereafter there will be provisions made as part of this contract, or as a part of a process in which collaboratively access to all the developers or the selected developers will be given to access this classified data on Army's premise, and thereafter train it subsequently to take the accuracy levels up to whatever we can take. So that is the general approach.
Okay. So to start with, we can use whatever is come easily available online for what is considered routine targets that the army comes across, and then after we propose, then we can develop it further to improve it
Yes.
with your classified database, right?
Yes, correct. So while initially develop, you sort of in a way exhibit the capability, the form factor, the compute requirement, the kind, because it is to work on the edge. So the power requirements, the inter.
Your mic was just cut.
Yes. So audible now, please.
Yes.
So I'm saying initially develop the model, show, I mean, prove the concept, show that the form factor is good enough, the compute requirements are good enough for the edge to work, the power requirements are good enough, and it is interoperable with the different kinds of system, and then we take specific training to the model.
I
I
have
hope that makes sense, please.
Are you audible? Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining, sir. We will be.
I have a second question.
Yes, please.
So you have listed a few certifications, maybe some 15, 20 have been mentioned here. So from what is mentioned, are these, you want all of the certifications to be there before the proposal? Or are they, can we discuss these during and after the proposal, and make modifications to certifications, etc.?
Yes,
Um,
these are this we can discuss them outside and during the proposal itself. So that's not.
okay, up to discussion. Um, like who pays for the certifications to be conducted for the product? Is it us, the developer, or the army, or something joint?
I think we can discuss this a bit because I need to get back to our concerned agency to give you clarity on this, the payment part,
Okay.
because I'm just the user,
Got it. Okay.
I have a few questions.
Yes, please.
So we are looking for universal compatibility, right? So the module should be able to communicate with any UAV in service right now.
Yes. So when I say anything which is in service and whatever is being procured in which are currently under procurement, I mean those projects are already underway and ICDs for those are being sought. Maybe some of the in-service ICDs not there, then we can look into. But when we have the interface control documents for the future procurements, it should be talking to. I mean, it should be making all of them intelligent.
Okay. Is there a protocol or is there an interface on the current UAVs that we have, or we don't have that information right now?
As of now, we have on one, but the other ones I'm not. So at least we have access to the ICDs of one system, which will be available to us in say about 3 to 4 months of time. And it that is confirmed, but the remaining ones which are under, because it's large number of OEMs and
Lost your voice.
yes, can you hear me please?
Yes.
Yes, so I can confirm we have interface documents for one, and balance of them I'll give you clarity, but most probably we'll have.
So this is Arun from Optimize. I have a few questions. So, in terms of detection, recognition, identification, and targeting, are you expecting the engine to be compatible with day camera or thermal camera or both?
Both, please. It has to be multimodal, and when I say multimodal means currently at least EO sensors which are day and night enabled, definitely need them to be capable of doing these functions. And I would in fact go to the extent that they should be scalable. That is to say, tomorrow if the bird goes an upgrade and puts a say other kind of a sensor, say an IR sensor or a FLIR sensor or something, then we should have the capability to upgrade uh, this module or this AI engine to accept I mean ingest this input from these additional sensors. But at least as of now, definitely day and night, that is TI and EO sensors.
Right. So, what is the altitude at which this platform you're expecting to operate?
Okay, so as I say, this problem statement is platform agnostic. That is to say, it will um, it has to work with all UAS, and we are procuring all kinds of UAS system which have endurance and this thing from 5 kilometers to 50 kilometers, and they will be at times operating at heights of the ceiling heights would go. So we will be operating in high altitude where the takeoff height itself will be about say 3000 meters and above, or 4000 meters approximately, and they will fly good enough and high enough to remain out of the enemy's capability to neutralize them. So they'll be much more they'll be higher than say kilometer, or say maybe more.
Understood, sir. Next question
But
is
I'm saying
regarding
it
that.
should be, yeah, it should be agnostic of the platform, but whatever its sensors are giving in the GCS of that platform, our system should take that data and make it intelligent or make it better.
Right,
Is
sir.
there a power requirement? Is there a power requirement or power limit of how much power it can draw?
So that you have to specify, because then we'll have to see, will it become a burden on the platform, and then how do so it has to be minimal power requirements. And since we are trying to put it on the edge, while the edge, that is where the operator is flying the UAS or analyzing the data from the GCS, it will have adequate power redundancy, but at the same time must emphasize that it should not draw out the main power of the platform and becomes a burden for the system to operate.
Understood, no problem. Is there a weight requirement as well? Like what should be the maximum weight of the module?
Sir, as I said, because we are using at the edge and possibly trying to just integrate on the GCS and not on the bird. So it is not a concern much, but consider a lightweight tab which Apple gives. Good
Okay,
enough
so
for
this will be deployed on the edge on the UAV or on the GCS?
no. So we are looking to deploy not on the UAV. We don't want to touch the integrity of the UAV. We want it
Okay.
to be integrated on the edge. Because if you put a weight on the UAV, it whole functionality and its aerodynamics and all those things are under, they might undergo change, which will make the project much more complex.
Fair, fair. That makes sense. So now for the GCS, do we have a prepared platform right now? Which GCS are we using, or?
So I will, I can give you, I can give you one platform which we will initially use to test, but
Which
not
one it
now.
is?
So it will be a runway independent aerial surveillance system, but because it is still under bidding, so I can't give you who specifically, which developer, but it's a known renowned developer which is making it. But I will be able to clarify it. I will be happy to answer these queries in writing when they come to me, but I'm saying we can give you the details at least of one platform with which we can test it for integration purpose. But as I said, it has to speak to all others in future.
Okay, understood. No problem. No problem. And this will be deployed on the GCS, which is probably on a laptop, and understood. Take care. Fair. Thank you.
Probably on a GCS end only. I mean, you have to understand. We have to reduce the burden to the operator. You don't want to give him another 2 kilograms of weight to carry. So you have to understand that part.
Understood. Fair. And the battery has to be part of the module, or battery will be supplied. Battery or power will be given extra additionally.
No, we plan it that the module is. You integrate the power thing with it. If say external supplies to be given, that's fine. But it can't have a battery module hanging somewhere else. But if
So
it is
ground
not
power will
having,
have AC power we can have there at the GCS will have AC power or not possible.
yes, we can have both options.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Main and redundancy, AC and DC.
Okay, understood. Okay.
So two things in terms of capability of the system. What resolution of video feeds you are expecting this to support for the, again, day camera and the thermal camera?
So as I said, you work on the say open standard kind of general standards of whatever DPIs we work on. So I cannot, because I have to go to the specifics of that sensor and then give it to you. So I can possibly give you the minimums when you can send these queries to me in writing, and I'll give you the minimum video quality or image quality which it will require to process. But you have to sort of, from your end, you have to suggest that our capability will be able to process any video which is this or higher, or any image which is this or higher.
Understood, sir. Last question from my side. Can you explain the targeting capability needed in addition to DRI?
So no, so targeting capability basically nothing specific. When I say targeting means it should be able to, if possible, give me the location. So say geotag is a wrong term, but I say if you are able
Geopoint.
to, yes, if you are able to find something, detect it, identify it, but also tell me that where is it, because to hit it, I need to know where is it. The coordinates, I mean, the geotagging which is usually happening. So for a static target, it's easy that once you're able to home on that this is a probable enemy, or this is probable PLA or Chinese tank, and when that is covered by a say box or something, highlighted by a box, I should be generally able to know that this is this is say this lat long, or this thing. So that is what is meant by targeting.
Hi, this is Rahul from ARI.
Yes,
Of course,
please.
sir. I understand now.
Yes, please.
So what kind of sensors are we talking about in this? Only EO and IR, or some LiDAR and other sensors? Like will there be any sensor fusion from other sources on the GCS or any command control center, or just
No,
the edge computing?
no, it is edge, and as I said, all our unmanned aerial system currently being planned with EO day and night capability. Definitely, that is TI and the day cameras, definitely all of them. And but I also said the future, or the things which are the contracts are being negotiated, they will have capability of IR and other advanced sensing capability. So they must be able to scale up to that. So our module should be able to scale up. When I say scale up, should be able to ingest that data also and sort of fuse it and then analyze it. I hope I make sense.
So we are talking about the edge device only, not
Yes,
on
edge.
for the command control center.
No, no, no. So that's why I'm saying it has to be modular, lightweight, at the
Yes.
edge for the operator, for the last guy to help him out.
So the edge device will be controlling only one UAS, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
The data that is coming from the sensors, are they time synchronized, or we will have to synchronize the time ourselves for the multi-sensor fusion?
No, I think that synchronization we'll have to plan.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, Sahil this side from Protomind AI Technologies. Sir, I had few questions related to this problem statement. May I
Yes, please.
proceed, sir?
Yes, please.
Sir, my first question is that for this module to operate, like it would need a high-end server, because we have to detect the object and then the LLM has to process it and then generate it for the user. So, sir, what is the server capability which is currently available?
No, so that's the whole part of the challenge. You have to make a AI module which is not that GPU heavy, because I am very non-technical. I am a practitioner. I have to use the data, so I cannot specify to you, but I am telling you I have to use it on the edge. You can't carry a GPU or CPU or a server on your back and sit at in Ladakh. Hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, so please keep that in mind. It is a module, interoperable, to be worked on the
Absolutely,
edge.
sir.
So now you say that, sir, this is the maximum that I can do. So that means if this is, when I say, so this is the maximum compute capability I can take to the edge. So therefore I can only process these many sensors, or that kind of video imaging, or that kind of thing, and I can't make beyond that. So that's your challenge to sort of mitigate, if I can say so.
So, sir, this would be hosted on a standalone laptop, or like the intranet or something like that would be available?
So it will be hosted on a standalone chip. Say it will be sort of flashed in, say, a Jetson Nano kind of thing, and then it will be integrated with the GCS, from which it will fetch the data, process it, and then help the operator.
Okay, and sir, at the end, does the operator need a report to be generated as well, or
Yes.
it?
So a kind of a summary. When I say report, means it should be able to give out that you have a very basic thing, that this is say in a screen, if there are 10, say I would say, just give a hypothetical example. If the UAV is flying and it is the sensor is searching an area which is about say 500 meters by 500 meters. In that 500 meters, there are three gun systems, artillery guns of enemy. There is one a vehicle. When I say a vehicle, means a tank. There is one vehicle, say a truck, and there are three human beings. One of them has a weapon system or something. So it should be, and it is the sensor of the UAV, which is say flying at say 1 kilometers above and say 2 kilometers away from this thing, is able to tell me that in this 500 meters, this is the kind of summary kind of thing. This is what it is. This is likely to be an enemy T-55 tank, and this is the location, and basic time stamping and all.
Okay, sir, just last question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Uh, Sir, at the end, when hello,
Yes, I can hear. Go on, please.
Uh,
Hello.
can I share my screen and show you a photo we have, and you can confirm if this is what you want? We have existing product that does the same.
So we will go to that stage subsequently. I think this is the first. I mean, because that will take a lot of time if you start scrutinizing
No
from
problem.
all the.
No problem.
And we will do it through ADB. So at this point, I'm just clarifying if there is something, and if there is a need to do something, I will come through ADB. So not directly, I would say.
No problem. Thank you.
So if you want to contact you or something, I mean, can we mail you some?
So, sir, the person who has coordinated this meeting today, the GSO1 of the ADB, is the contact through which we talk. And since I'm not in the office today, I'm sitting in a car park. So I will discuss with him how to individually contact or receive queries. But at this point in time, you can write mails with specific queries to the GSO1 ADB, with whom you are in contact right now. And thereafter it will be obviously channelized to me, and then if required and if advised by ADB, then I'll contact individually. There's no problem.
Oh, okay, thank you.
one more,
hello.
please. Am I audible?
Yes, please.
Sir, will there be flexibility for the developer to configure the sensor parameters, or will the prototype interface with a predefined sensor setup?
So I have not understood the query. So you want that you want to send commands to define sort of task the sensors?
Not necessarily task them, but if there was to be some sort of flexibility as to if the developer is able to choose the sensor configuration for our AI models data ingestion, like selection or calibration or operating modes and all.
Okay. So because I need to get back to you on this, because there is a separate challenge in which we are trying to do this part, wherein you're able to mission plan and task your sensors and adjust their parameters autonomously. That's a separate, in fact, in one of the meetings just after a couple of minutes, I will be addressing that portion. So in this, I want to make it very lightweight, and I want to keep the functionality minimum. So we only receive, analyze, and give back. But yes,
So,
if you are suggesting something very specific which impacts it, then I can think over it. So because I not thought over it as of now.
sir, to maybe elaborate the question, what's meant to be asked here is the AI model is, bound to lean towards some feature while extracting them. So if the developer were to have some sort of control over the sensor configuration alone, I mean which data stream is being ingested before the other one, that might have some sort of impact on the efficiency of the delivery.
Yes, I think that is doable. So if you're saying that, say there are three sensors which are feeding into it, so like one day camera plus also you have some other camera which is looking at the same area, and you want to say you want to prioritize the day video coming in first, and the overlap from the other sensor is to be prioritized number 2. So I think that is doable. That's not an issue.
All right. And are we also expected to work with SAR or telemetry?
As of now, no, because SAR payload and this thing currently, in my understanding, we are not for this particular project we are not doing. But for I mean, in my understanding, whatever UAS we are buying, I am not very sure whether SAR is there. But I will come back to you on this. But as I said, in general, there might be in future a system which comes in which has got SAR inputs coming in. So, but I will confirm this SAR part. But I can confirm EOTI. IR definitely to be ingested.
So if the ingestion stream is basically being ingested as a cross domain sensor fusion, it might help to have some sort of if not control, at least some sort of influence over the sensor configuration.
Yes, I think now I understand what you're trying to say. In such a multimodal configuration, if you want to sort of prioritize the ingestion and processing uh, to refine the output of the project output of the output to the operator, then I think that is rather should be something very unique, because I am not very sort of clear about it. But if it helps in refining the output or reducing the compute requirements or whatever, optimize the compute requirements, then I think we should rather.
Understood, sir. I know you have already given specifics about the weight of it. Can you repeat them, please? The voice kind of cut out.
Yeah, so I'm saying the form factor, the weight and size. Specifics. I'm not saying that you make it something of 500 grams. But I'm just giving you a basic idea, because if I legislate, you will start optimizing your output or something like that. What I'm saying, it should be user friendly at the edge. So imagine a Apple tab, or iPad, which is
Understood, sir.
lightweight, and so you configure it from that point of view. It can be a bit heavier, but we would obviously prefer something which is light. You imagine a guy has to walk or say 2 kilometers with that weight, along with this bird and the sensor and everything. So that's the competition, right? So whosoever makes it lighter and efficient and with adequate compute gets the thing.
Is the display supposed to be part of the solution, or display will be the current display will have with the GCS?
No, I think if the display always helps. So while I'm not, because it can just be a black box and the display integrated with GCS without this. So that's fine with me. But if someone is able to provide a sort of separate output in this sort of module itself, then it will be.
Better.
So I understand what I am asking. And open source, I have seen Chinese modules, black boxes, small black boxes, but not with display. It is just integrated with the main display of the GCS, which is
GCS you
fine.
think will be helpful if we add the display? You think it will be helpful?
Yes. So I'm saying it will be helpful.
Okay,
It will be
understood.
helpful.
Understood. Now, in terms of capabilities, right? What is to be optimized for? Is it optimized for lower latency, like real-time inferencing, or higher accuracy?
No. So the time is critical, then accuracy at the edge. So latency part is more important than. I mean, if you have to balance between them, then I would prioritize latency.
Okay, and in the latency, we are looking at 30 FPS approximately, right?
Yes, is that I mean, yes, the standard part, yes.
Okay, understood. Thanks.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello,
please.
am I audible?
Yes, please.
Sir, is there any specifics about so if these drones operate in like enemy territory, there will be some interference or jamming and that sort of thing, right?
Yes.
So you have like certain requirements from that point of view?
So I can clarify at this point in time that the birds which are being bird is the wrong word, but the UAS system which are being procured have a parameter or a QR for all the developers to make them function in a denied environment or a EW contested environment. So in a degraded environment. So the bird should be capable of doing its basic functions even if there is a sort of EM attack or something. So it will
Okay.
give us, yeah.
Sure, sure. Sir, actually, we want to understand the flow exact because like, we are not from your background. So to understand how a Recce process happens, how deployment works, like unit size and that sort of thing. Can
Okay.
you go into
Okay.
some detail about that?
Yeah, so I'll just briefly explain. So how will it work? So currently all these recce and surveillance etc. Functions are being done by ground-based sensors predominantly, which works on line of sight. And you see whatever you see, you capture it, and then the man processes it. You know, you so so it the processing limitation is the eye. So at say 3 kilometers down the chain, if there is a donkey or a buffalo or a cow or a horse, it becomes difficult. So that is currently what is being done. Now, currently what is being done locally, small scale UAS, that is the fixed wing fixed wing UAS systems are being procured, which have say limited range of 5 to 10 and maximum is 20 kilometers as of now, which are in service. So they fly to a given area. They have basic EO sensors. That EO sensor feed comes back to the GCS to the person who is operating it. He keeps looking at the screen and keeps pinpointing that this is a probable target, this is a probable enemy, this is a probable XYZ, and then keep noting it manually or registering it manually, although this GCS also keeps recording the data. And then he has to identify pinpoint. So if he wants to zoom in or hover around, if he doesn't see, so that's a challenge. And if it is night, if it is foggy, it becomes much more challenging. So while the sensor is capturing, the GCS work or the identification work is being done by a man with his basic knowledge and his own eyes and etc etc. So the idea here is, first is improve the capability. So that means to say buy better birds. So the buy better birds are happening, and most of these OEMs are promising to give basic autonomy or basic intelligence to these sensors, that even without a AI module, the basic target sort of or object marking will happen. But at the end of it, and we are buying different categories of from 25 to say 5 to 25 to 60 kilometers, different kinds of birds are happening. So now in order to make these birds intelligent, we need a modular system, because if we keep sharing this classified data to all these OEMs, it becomes a problem. So we need a modular AI model which is trained in a sort of classified data set, which gets integrated with GCS, and whatever the input is coming from these sensors at the edge, at the last man level, it can optimally process it quickly and say whatever I have seen or I'm seeing currently, where the UAV is hovering or flying, is 2 tanks, 1 gun, 3 human beings without weapon. I hope that makes sense. That is
Okay,
the
yeah, yeah.
basic flow.
Okay, and what about the terrain, sir? So you are looking for target identification, or terrain is also like something you
So
want to understand?
this particular challenge is just the target part, and there's another challenge for which I'm looking at terrain for our different purpose, for a recce purpose, which is a separate challenge.
Okay, okay. Actually, sir, last thing. So we have like these certain doubts regarding like how things operate in the field. Is there a way to contact someone from the forces like who can
Yeah, so
give some?
as I suggested earlier, you please send your queries and suggestions and proposals through a mail to the ADB, which would have, I hope you know ADB, and so that
Uh,
single.
can you explain, sir?
So
I
Army
don't.
Design Bureau, which is our contact point for IDEX challenges, or whosoever has, someone would have how did you get the challenges and all? You would have got through some defense organization.
We got them from the website, sir. Actually.
Yeah, so website will have contact details of Army Design Bureau,
Sure, sir.
or you
Okay.
search it and then you mail it. Otherwise, there is a single point of contact, who is coordinating through me. I will have to clarify, because at this point in time, I am not sure whether I can individually interact with all of them, and because obviously it has to be scheduled. I've got this thing.
Sir, we have a query form over our website. So whatever query they have with respect to this or Aditi, they can post it there and it will reach to us and we will forward it to the nodal officer. We have the email IDs of nodal officers.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, as clarified by the rep, please do the needful through the website, through the form.
Okay, sure.
Right. Thanks.
Hello, sir. This is Bhupendra here from Vetar Defense.
Yes.
Sir, I want to understand, like,
Yes, please.
for example, the drone may be having EO as well as IR sensor.
Yes, please.
And on the GCS, the user is just looking at, let's say, IR sensor.
Okay.
And he is not aware right now of the other sensors output. So this
Okay.
model whatever we are developing, since it
Yeah.
is supposed to help the user,
Yeah.
are we only supposed to consume what he is seeing currently, or even the feed which he is not currently seeing?
So this is a similar query which someone asked earlier. So can you ask your bird or UAS to switch to a different sensor which can probably give you a better output for your model to ingest and analyze? Then definitely yes. If that capability exists on that bird and if it is suboptimally not utilizing that better capability, then you should be able to give him a hint with a human in the loop to sort of switch to a better sensor and then assist you to analyze. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, sir. I mean, if that capability is there in the bird, then yes, it does make sense.
Yeah.
But since we are talking about a scalable solution, that capability may not be available with all the birds.
Yeah.
So, should we concentrate on just helping the user in understanding what he is seeing currently?
Yes. So that is the basic fundamental questions that we are trying to solve this problem. And your previous suggestion is a step above it. So if there is a capability which can be used, then why not? So you focus mainly on your first on this basic, whatever you are seeing, help him out. But also if you know or if you can know and it can use a better sensor, then why not?
Okay, sir. Got it. Got it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, right. So thanks for, I mean, if that is all for this problem statement, I think we can.
One last question.
Yeah,
So,
please.
this is operating at the GCS level on the edge. So, the module would be taking the data from the GCS itself, and the GCS would be taking it from the UAS using maybe radio frequency,
Yes,
right?
correct, sir.
Okay.
So the what frequency that is, I can't specify at this point in time because different developers are using different radio sets. While there is an effort to harmonize this also, broadly this band will, but I know, but what frequency exactly, or is it hopping, is it encrypted, all those details as of now I don't have preview to, and I possibly we don't need to I mean at this point in time share.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Yep.
Yes, so we can move to the next problem statement. Nitin, if you are online, I'm not sure.
Nitin, sir? एक मिनट से Sir, problem statement number 3 is there, sir. Shall we proceed with that?
Just a sec, because I think this is for RT9. If Nitin is in I mean online and this can listen to, this has to be done by someone from RT9 if sir is
Right,
around.
sir. Right, sir. Right, sir. Nitin, sir, are you there, sir?
Sir, can we wrap up your problem
Yes,
statements maybe in one go? Because I think this is the model this was being followed all along.
yes, I am happy. Because
Certainly, sir. Sir, we will go by that only, sir.
yes, please. I am okay with that, please.
Sir, um, mm, can you please confirm the challenge name?
So next one is AI enabled gun area recce module.
Roger, sir. Sharing, sir. Sharing it. Sir, please confirm if the PDF is visible.
Yes, please. I can see. I hope others can also see.
Right, sir.
Yeah, please indicate to me when should I start.
It works, sir.
Sir,
Please start.
you may start, sir.
Okay, fine. So again, I'll just take 2 minutes to briefly say what is given in the problem statement. This is to make our recce gun area recce system intelligent. When I say that, currently what is being done and what we envisage, that I'll explain. So currently, if we have to engage a target, say at a distance of 10 I'm just giving hypothetical example, 10 kilometers from the international boundary or line of control, and we know general area where these targets are, we work backwards to estimate the area where we need to go and where we need to, deploy our guns and then engage those targets. Now, this selection is done off the map currently using the paper maps, digital maps, or the Google images. And thereafter, once the general area is identified, a deliberate human recce happens. When I say human recce, means it is a manual recce wherein if it is in the daytime, a smaller group of people will go and physically search that area and confirm the suitability of the area to the main group which has got the guns in it, who then on this party's instructions come and occupy this particular gun area. In the night, this is much more challenging because the process of doing the recce in the night time in a hostile environment or an area which can have enemy elements becomes a challenge. So one has to be very deliberate in going through the entire area step by step, making sure that there is no obstacle, there is no sort of defile, there is no tree, there is no undulating surface, there is no mountain, etc., etc. there is a suitable track to come inside, there is suitable space for the guns to put their stores, get deployed, get the ammunition vehicle in, get the command post vehicle in, the all elements coming in a manner that they can suitably deploy themselves, at the same time remain adequately covered from enemies view or enemy's surveillance system as much as possible, then sort of engage and then move quickly to the next area which is being recceed or has been recceed. Now, while this process is being done manually, specifically in the night, it takes a larger group of people. And in the night, I can just give a rough ballpark figure that it takes to do a recce of a kilometer by kilometer in about 60 to 70 minutes if the drills are well tied up. And in spite of that, there is a lot of sound, noise, etc., that happens, which makes the whole process time consuming, uh, um, and an hazard in a way that it can, it is a sort of this thing for the people who are in that area who become susceptible to enemy fire. And then obviously it gives out your intention to a large extent. So what my our thought process is that this whole process can be made intelligent, wherein part of it, that is to say the part of analyzing or mission planning, calculating the time and space, that is the distances and time taken, the process of analyzing the terrain based on open source imageries, maps, satellite imageries or GIS data, can assist in giving a probable areas of deployment better. And thereafter we have those recce birds or recce UAS systems which which can be flown or which will be flown instead of sending a group of 30 men. Possibly a bird flown from a distance of say 5 odd kilometers goes, and whatever was initially suggested can be physically recceed, when I say physically means the recce by this bird, which feeds back and tells us that whatever we had earlier imagined, this area of a kilometer by kilometer is suitable or not suitable. It has got this kind of terrain, this kind of trafficability, these many gaddhas, these possibly one man also hiding somewhere with the weapon, etc. So from his point of view, he suggests that this can be the place where number one gun will go. This is where number two will go. This is where the ammunition vehicle can go. This is where the command post vehicle can go. And based on that, the recce officer say yes or no or modifies it, and then with a very short or quick physical recce if required, and if not required, just orders the gun group to move inside and sort of start the fire missions. So in a way, this will make it quicker, accurate, and less hazardous to the people and to the whole operation. So that is the basic operational use, I'm saying, from the user's perspective. Now, what technology, what kind of AI model, what kind of AI engine, etc., is required, that we are deliberating now, and I'll be able to maybe answer some of them or maybe answer later on after some more research. That is my sort of this thing, and now I'm happy for answering the queries.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Gagan. I'm from Trigartha Labs.
Yes, please.
Sir, are we constrained to explore only sky-based Recce modules, or is there a scope for exploring land-based ones as well?
Yes, so good question. So why I'm harping only aerial systems is because currently we are working on aerial systems, but I'm very this thing that maybe in future we do a unmanned ground vehicle to do this job. But because currently it is not under procurement planning, so I'm not committing to it. But the whole clause of making it interoperable with any kind of system or any kind of sensor inputs, that sort of open architecture allows us to even exploit or upgrade or scale it up if a unmanned ground vehicle also is available. I hope that makes sense.
It does, sir. Thank you.
Hello, sir. I'm Bhanuteja from Energy Lab. I have one question related to terrain. What kind of terrain are we looking at? Is it flat or it will be hilly?
Okay, so I am sure you are familiar with the in our geography, and also you're familiar with where we are deployed. Broadly, if you say, if you start from the western front, and broadly, if I go upwards, it is pure deserts to semi-deserts to obstacle ridden where there are canals. Then there is a plain with the fields. Then there is mountains. Then there is high altitude areas with heights ranging up to 18. I mean, I can tell you that deployments up to 18,000 feet. So that is the kind of terrain profile we are looking at. So just imagine what kind of terrain, everything opposite the western front and the other front, the other adversary that we have.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
So right now, when the recce is happening, right, what is that we are trying to find as a human, right, from the human side of things?
Okay, sir. So what is the so the physical recce of the area? I will first. So I will. Okay, I will start from the planning part per se. So when we start a recce process, we first do the mission planning, wherein we first zero on to the probable areas where we can go. So if just open a map and we see there are two mountain ridges, but there is a flat valley in between, we zero on that. Generally, if this is the area we have to deploy, these are the suitable flat areas where, or hidden areas or whatever we can this thing. Now, physically, when we go in those specific squares or that specific area, what do we look? We first look whether there is an access to it. I mean, there is a track, or obviously there will all not be prepared tracks, but trafficability of that area is so that the guns or the vehicles don't get bogged down. So there is and it's not very far away from the main track, but close enough. Plus, when you go inside, you also have to see what is the kind of obstacles around. So when I say obstacle, is there a gadda? Is there a slope which is say 30 degrees? Is there a big tree? Is there a is there adequate space so that minimum distance of 15 to 20 meters between two platforms or two guns can be maintained? And is there a enemy or a unidentified human being present there? Is there a weapon in his hand? Is there any unidentified vehicle present in that area? So all these factors are. So we look at enemy threats, we look at obstacles, we look at the trafficability part, we look at the soil condition. I mean, generally the nature of the ground there. We look at the slope in that area. We look at the undergrowth generally in the area, and overall, if adequate cover, good enough cover. And when I say cover, means from the opposite side, am I just sitting in the open? So all this happens in the mind sometimes, but more when you go and physically walk in that area or stand at a vantage point somewhere close so that you can have a bird's eye view of that area. Currently, I'm speaking. With the bird coming in, all this will be visualized from its output or the GCS screen. But then again, human will require to analyze a lot of it. But I know, but in my basic knowledge, I know that now with the technologies, you can find out a lot of these issues previously before you even start walking in. And then once you have to just do a uh, basic confirmation from the sensor on board, or passive means you can further refine your sort of analysis.
Understood. So you will decide the area. You will select the area in terms of interface. I'm thinking. So you will select the area and you will ask the system to go there and do a sweep, which the AI will analyze every single part of the sweep and tell you if there are any other of these threats that is there. And as a report, you will want to have that threats location. Correct?
Yes, so broadly, yes. So in the report, what I obviously when it gives me threats, obstacles, etc., it should also tells me based on his assessment, the suitable area for deployment is this. When I say this, it should give 400 by 400 meters here, and in this 400 by 400 meters, the model is trained to tell you that in this 400 to 400 by 400, you can put one gun here, two gun here, three gun here, four gun here, five gun here. And I can understand that for you to visualize is a challenge, but once we see a bit of a once you see it physically happening, or being explained better, you will be able to visualize. But broadly, this is what will happen. Partly what you said is correct. Just the output I'm just refining.
So my question is, do you expect this to be done every time for every Recce operation, or you would want to build a library of the complete terrain, and depending on whenever a need is, you reanalyze the terrain because it's not expected to change so soon? What is your view about that?
Yes. So, yes. One way of looking at it, that terrain does not change much, but it does change. And why do you need to do a dynamic real-time recce? Because the enemy is something which can walk in anytime, or there can be a sort of flash flood, or there can be an avalanche, or there can be a landslide, or there can be anything which could have just happened, and I'm not aware of it. So for that, once you have a library, obviously the library will get built up over a period of time and part, but why the dynamic portion is required is because of the reasons that I have just mentioned.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, sir, please.
So, sir, you said the system should tell us whether our deployment area is suitable. So, can you explain like what all factors make something like suitable? Like, so is it just elevation or is there something else?
Yes, so I will explain how do you what are the parameters that you manually use to ascertain the suitability of a gun area. Firstly, the space available. So for 6 guns, I'm just giving a ballpark because I don't want to give specifics on the open this thing, but I would be happy to share things in writing whenever it comes to me. But broadly, I'm saying 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer, if it is adequate open space, when adequate space available, that is the first one. Thereafter, we see if there is undulation. When you see undulation, I mean, if will the vehicle be able to move in and out? If it is too bumpy, it's not going to be the case. Third, the nature of the ground. So if it is too tough, too hard, if there are too many stones, the gun platform will not be stable. Next thing, I don't want a enemy there. I don't want in front of my barrels big trees, because the shell will go and strike, and it will become a problem. Then what else I see is there a likelihood that it is marshy or boggy thing? Is there too much of undergrowth? I also see the digging sort of, you have to dig. When I say dig means you have to make trenches and put your systems inside. So it should be, should be able to dig it. And there should not be a obstacle right in front of you. When I say trees or big mountains in front of you. So we also, when we are walking, we also make sure that the enemy without weapons or some sort of mines, etc., are not there in that area. So that is broadly what we manually do. Obviously, we would like that we got exact terrain slope, etc., etc., but humanly it is not possible.
Okay, sure, sir. And I had some questions about like the form factor. So, like the previous statement, so do you want this on the edge, or in this condition, is it okay? We can do some processing on like a central node. What is like your preference?
No, so again, my preference is on the edge because this is meant to help the last man. No, when I say last man, means not like the previous one where a single man is operating. Here, there is a group of 15-20 people who are moving closer, and who are moving closer to the op area. And if they depend on someone who is sitting much behind with a heavy processor and expecting them to tell ki this is the area which you should go, then it cannot be done. They might not be in communication, there might be interception, etc. So I want this with a man who is moving around with a group of 3 vehicles and 30 people with basics power, basic space available with him. So that is why it should be with the last man.
Right, sir. But I'm imagining like what if let's say the last man deploys a drone, it does the recce, comes back, and then it needs to do some processing like to create the DEM, like the
Yeah,
distance elevation map or something. So
yeah. So if it comes, it will come back to the person who is tasked Say if the person is temporarily sitting in his command post vehicle or a recce vehicle about 2, 3, 4 kilometers away, it can come back and do the processing there. There is no problem with that. I'm okay with that part.
Right, right. So to do that processing also, like there needs to be some processing power not on
Yes.
the edge, right?
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. So if you say that it comes back to the person and you ask him to carry very huge processors with him, and then make him switch it on and make the entire peripheral setup, then you are in war. You have to just quickly
Okay, but what if something like a laptop weight
yeah,
size, is that okay?
say tab or a laptop, imagine that we are okay
तुमको हम
with
भेज
that.
रहे हैं, है ना? तुमको उसी में अगर तुमको ऐड करना है वीआई तो कर सकती हो, बैंड गैप ऐड कर सकती हो, बाकी बात खत्म करना है।
Right, sir. And one more question was, so to do a recce, what is the time duration you're expecting? Like within this time limit, it should be
क्या
done. And
भेज
what
रहे
is the land area size which you do a recce for? Like,
Okay.
नहीं,
I will
खाली
give
वही
you
वही ऐड करना है,
will give you
एक ही भी ऐड करना है।
indicative figures of a day recce and night recce.
हाँ, ठीक।
Yeah. So from the time we are given, we need to complete the entire for the day. I'm saying. Can you hear me?
इतना बड़ा क्यों भेजे फाइल?
I can hear you, sir, but some other speaker is also speaking.
Yes.
कहाँ है? ये तो
So
मैं
if someone who is mute, someone can mute the others.
I request all the participants, please check your mic. If you are not in the meeting and not speaking, please keep your mics mute. It is disturbing.
Dr. Vibhuti, I think you are on mute.
Okay.
Kindly request to mute your mic.
Yes. So
Okay, fine.
yeah. So I hope the person who asked is able to
Yeah, I can hear you, sir. So I was asking, what is the duration of a recce and what is the area of a recce, like,
Yes.
usually?
So in the daytime, recce and occupation of a 1 by 1 kilometer area, a square kilometer area for deployment of 6 guns. And when I say deployment, it is not just recce but deployment. It should finish off roughly in 30 minutes, and in the night it is 60 minutes. But this is let me tell you, this is manual. We want to drastically reduce it. That's the whole purpose of making it intelligent. So in the night,
So
the
ideal
recce
solution would be,
60 minutes for
so
a
the ideal
kilometer.
solution would be edge-based and real-time, correct?
Yes, with some very limited latency. I mean, I understand that real time you will start looking for a lot of compute and power requirements, but as less as possible.
Understood. Understood. No problem. So in terms of satellite imagery, right? What kind of satellite imagery do we have access to, or that we'll have to figure out?
No, we have to figure out. We can assume that open source satellite imageries or at the end of it, if you are looking for classified satellite imageries for very accurate pinpoint targets, which we are not looking at. I hope it makes sense. We are looking at areas. So I think open source satellite imageries can be useful to at least broad base, because as such we are going on ground. So I don't want to complicate and say that you want sub 3 meters kind of a sort of this thing, resolution. But open
1
source.
meter, yeah, 1 meter doable mostly.
Yeah, definitely, very much.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Take it.
I have a question. If somebody
Yes,
has
please.
not, can I ask? Hi, this is Manish checking. So I want to
Yes.
ask the size of the bird that you want to carry, because for a 30-minute operation, the bird would need a lot of battery. So are
Yeah.
you also thinking of using small kind of FPV drones also to get a Reiki and come back, or you're thinking of having, or you already have bigger drones?
Yes, so the recce birds are already been figured out, and they are in the process of being sort of procured. And the FPV currently is not in scheme, but definitely can't deny in future, because there is also a thought process on that part. But currently we are planning on fixed wing birds which have endurance of up to because they are multifunctional birds. They will just not do recce, which have an endurance of about 4 to 5 hours, and they have ranges of up to 10 to 15 kilometers.
Okay, and these birds would have what kind of sensors? Because these would actually get the data. So we would assume that these would have uh, different types of cameras like thermal cameras as well as lidars to capture that terrain data. Because we need
Yes.
to assume that, right?
No, so I can tell you these birds will definitely have a day camera, EO based sensing. Uh, I mean, that is our baseline to work on. So we need to we can assume that this is what we will get. This is the general quality of video imagery, etc. We'll get, and then how we use it to on the existing overlays of GIS or open source Google imageries to this is just an overlay which is further refining what we already have. What we have is those data banks which are either from, as I mentioned earlier, from other sources which are mostly static in nature.
So
But
the
yes,
only data we can assume is from the thermal camera or from an RGB camera.
yes.
And if for maybe for better I mean prediction, if we need to have some kind of lidars, then would that be possible in scope?
So if you are saying that you have to integrate a separate sensor suite or just to make this program workable, then we make it complicated, which is not the intent. So but I will be happy to further maybe discuss on it. So you please send this query. I will deliberate more on this, but as of now, this is not in the scope. LiDAR is not in the scope. The baseline is the RGB, that is the day camera and the night camera.
Yeah, so that was my actually ask. So just one more question. Are we operating in a GPS denied area, or it is that the GPS would be there?
So okay, so our assumption is that in operations there will be attempts to deny or deliberately or otherwise. So we have, as I said, our birds will be competent to work in a denied environment, because even if the signals are available, they might not be very accurate. But the bird will. That's why the birds ultimately what this model is dependent is on the output of these birds. So if when I say these birds are being procured with a parameter that they should be capable of working in a denied or EW contested environment, then we assume that it is there.
Okay, sir. So where to mail to get more details about the output that these sensors would provide and more details on these birds, because the complete solution depends on that.
No, so the whole thing is, as I'll repeat again, because we want to make it platform agnostic firstly. Secondly, because you see currently what is being procured, in 2 years time maybe the OEM himself upgrades it or we find another manufacturer. So if you get slave to a particular bird, it is a issue. That's why we have kept the scope modular and open architecture. But I understand that at least to plan you need a basic planning sort of benchmark. So for that the query can be sent to what the officer earlier from the DIO I think indicated. On the web page there is a form in which you can give all these queries. They will reach them and then they will come to the nodal officer, which is to me, and then I'll give you, after some consultation, the basic parameters of one platform on which we are basing this, and probably we will validate also when it is developed.
Thank you, sir.
I have a few questions on the AI and ML part. So
Yes.
from what I understand, there are the inferences the model should produce would be one, terrain classification. Second would be gun position ranking. That what is the ranking of a gun at particular positions. Suggestions of the routes that we've asked for. Threat and line of sight analysis. And third is cover concealment scoring. If let's say, is there a requirement for what if analysis as well? For example, if I place a 155 mm SP gun here, what is the LOS cover and displacement time? Is that something also you want the AI to answer, or you just want the AI to classify the terrain and be done with it?
No, so what if analysis is a value addition, and I think the way you have listed out the requirements, you have understood the scope very well. So ultimately, think of it that in how you know what more assistance can you give to the user. I hope from your visualization, once I've explained the process to you, and if you're able to do this kind of query management, or that is the whole purpose of making it intelligent. So while I've given you a bottom line, and you understood that bottom line very well, the way you have listed all these things, but if you can give a sort of a better intelligent module which is easily I mean, don't make too many GUIs for the user to be confused with. Therefore I'm trying to keep it very simple, but if you can do that, why not?
Okay, fair. ठीक है, that's okay.
Right, thanks. If that is all for this one, we can, I mean, if DIO or ADB permits, we can go to the next one.
Right, sir. So the next one is, sir, AI-enabled multi-agent module for UAS function, sir.
Yes, please.
So,
That is again, I will do that.
right, sir.
So for this Recce module, is there any weight limit restriction?
Sorry, there was a query, I think, for the previous one. I don't know if you are still online.
Yes, I'm
And
there.
repeat it, please.
Sir, is there any weight restriction for that module?
Okay, so it is working on the edge. Visualize that it has to be light. The lighter solution with efficient compute is what we will prefer. And if you have to imagine, imagine an Apple tab or iPad. Don't go visualizing a form factor beyond a lightweight laptop.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Sir, is problem number available? Visible, sir?
Yes, please. I can see. If I hope
Uh,
others can also see, and if you allow, I will just brief on it.
right. Participants, please let me know if it's visible.
Yes, it's visible.
Right. Sir, you may go ahead, sir.
Right. So I will just quickly summarize what is the intent, and if I'm allowed, I will just use an example. So there is a firm called a firm from another country which has a sort of IPR on a very customized multi-agent autonomous module which is called HiveMind by Shield AI. So it gives mission autonomy to the unmanned or manned platforms, and if someone has not heard of it, you can get the lot of ideas, because it's so now what is the core problem is that in times to come we will have surveillance birds and strike birds. So that is surveillance unmanned aerial systems and strike unmanned aerial systems. A large number of functions of these individual platforms will be autonomous or semi-autonomous in a large way, that is autopilot and some of it, etc. But when you start and you can imagine it's a progression towards swarming, but not there. I mean, we are not looking at 40 swarm or something. What I'm saying is with a small, say, Jetson NVIDIA chip flashed with the protocols, it is able to automate large number of the functions of these UAS platforms. So what functions we are looking at for making them autonomous is predominantly is listed in the problem statement. So I will say if if there is a module or an or a AI enabled multi-agent module which can help the operator who is flying to carry out some of these functions in an autonomous manner, from mission planning to basic functionalities of flying, etc., then that is what we intend. So I will explain it with a hypothetical situation. So if we have to mission plan a surveillance and strike mission using, say, two surveillance birds and three strike birds, then I want to, what I will be required to do is I have to sort of firstly visualize the intended area where these surveillance birds will fly up to. Thereafter, they will undertake some surveillance, that is, search the area, then do basic target detection, recognition, and identification, for which they will plan their own paths and own methodology. Thereafter, they now so like we decide and give them that this is a 2 kilometer by 2 kilometer block which has to be searched by a pair of surveillance birds. So these birds will sort of, with their autopilot functions, will take off and then automatically navigate to that area based on selected waypoints, which will be planned by them. Thereafter, go to their respective areas, undertake the entire search on their own in their own pattern, and in between, if one of the birds gets shot, the other one understands that he is not no longer there in the operation. So I have to possibly multitask, or I have to sort of or if there is something I need to do additional, then he retask itself or something. Once that search is complete and a target, say hypothetical target, is identified, then it is able to communicate back to the strike birds, that is the whether it is loiter munition or whether it is the kamikaze kind of a system. So it is able to transmit that whole thing back on the architecture, and then these loiter munitions do their mission planning, ask for the approval of the man in the loop, the operator, and they take off, and then they go and reach the area where they have to strike. Now, when they reach there, they possibly see that the target has moved a bit, so they home on, and then thereafter redesignate the new target area or new location, and they strike. So this is a hypothetical surveillance strike mission which involves autonomously planning the mission, uh, taking off with its basic taking off, thereafter navigating itself, doing the search, maybe multitasking, or redistribution of tasks in between in an intelligent way. Thereafter, transmit back the data for someone to take a decision and then carry out the strike task. In a way, this will create a sort of small brick which has got surveillance and strike. There are meshed communication architecture which is intelligent, and we are basically able to make a fundamental kind of a swarm, a basic swarm with 5 birds, 6 birds. Uh, so that is the whole concept, and as I said, it is what HiMind does, but it's not ours. So we intend to make something which is totally ours, which we can subsequently scale, modify, or customize in the country without depending on anything from outside. So that is my this thing. I will try and answer some of them. I understand it's a bit of a complex, not a complex, but a slightly advanced problem.
In this, when you say multi-agent, right, is it multiple AI agents collaborating on the single UAV, or is it like every single individual UAV is an agent on its own that they collaborate with each other and try to learn on the way and communicate with each other?
So
Or both?
definitely, yeah, it's both. Exactly.
Okay.
It is
Okay.
both. Yeah.
Okay. And when you say sensor to shooter, right, do you mean only airborne platforms, or it can be airborne plus ground platforms integrated together in one?
No, currently for this project, we are keeping the scope of airborne systems, unmanned aerial systems only.
No worries. And in terms of autonomy, right?
Yeah, it is autonomy to the unmanned aerial systems again.
Okay.
And if future upgrades, we will see, but definitely if the concept works, if we have the thing, then definitely why not?
Okay. In terms of autonomy, right? Is it level 3, level 4, level 5? Level 3 basically means human delegated. Level 4 is your supervised autonomy, and level 5 will be full autonomy, including weapon release.
No, definitely not 5. It is somewhere between. It's somewhere in 3 or 4, so that we can specify. But it's not full autonomy. Definitely human monitored and human in the loop who will take the call of for the strike function per se, but supervision definitely in for surveillance function.
Okay, understood. And there will always be human in the loop for before any strike, correct?
Yes, every time, at least in this project, we envisage in the near to midterm, all these systems will have a human in the loop.
Okay, understood.
Sir, question on it. Do we able to get the facility to update the US and add some additional AI modules?
Yeah, so okay, can you just again specify when you say when you're asking, I mean, are you meaning that you create a module now, and then we integrate it with, say, these birds which I'm referring to, which we are procuring, and then say which is obviously at the edge. Now you know, make an upgrade based on which is, say, at the back end, which is, say, happening in Delhi, and you want to, you know, upgrade this patch or upgrade this whole module to the existing one which is on the field, then definitely that provision has to be there, and we will be able to do it. I mean, we should be able to do it.
So the current product that we sell is the same kind of module. So that is why we are saying, because there are challenges when you are using a bird created by, let's say, a company where you don't have the facility to plug into, let's say, a telemetry module. I mean, get the telemetry data or the video feed. Then it would be a challenge to how do you modify the path and do AI on the edge on the bird itself.
Okay, so there is an assumption in this question that if you don't have the interface documents, or if you don't have the collaboration with the OEM to allow you certain selected telemetry data, then it's a challenge. But as I said, whatever we are procuring now, we have learned our lessons and we are getting these ICDs. And you know, in terms of the OEM will have to be on board to allow this upgrade, and that will be our endeavor to, you know, allow this to happen. So I mean, it has to happen. We will get it done this way or the other way, because and to be very frank, I mean, to a counterpoint to this, the firm that I'm referring to, when we interacted with them, they say we need very little or limited data from them.
Okay.
So both ways, I'm saying we are working on the assumption that we will have ICDs to allow you obviously you know, the bottleneck comes in when you start referring to this as you give access to the entire codes or entire, you know, to someone, then it is obviously a problem. But then we have to be very selective in what we need to fetch and then what we need to change. So that is a point where we need to deliberate more. So we will need to ask from you, what all do you need, and then we'll need to tell them that we need this, give us this. I hope I'm making sense. So it is a subjective kind of a question. We can only answer it in general. The answer is yes, but specifics, when we get the specifics, we will. But definitely for this prototype or this project, I will send this query. I will give you the specifics of which surveillance and which strike we will first integrate this on and validate this on, and I will have to I will make sure that we get the required data for you.
No. At what interface do you expect the system to work? Are we going to replace the flight controllers? Are we going to interface with the ground control system for this?
Sir, we so as I said, if we do not intend to and we don't want to, and I think the anything on the bird is not to be changed. Whatever change happens on the ground-based control systems, which is the GCS part, and we exploit the capability of the platform itself. Maybe you know, sometimes the platform itself, the hardware is not compatible. Then we are not working to make those hardware intelligent, which doesn't have basic autonomous functions. I hope I'm making
Yeah,
sense.
makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, no problem.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hi, sir. I'm Rohan. So I have few questions.
Yes, please.
As you mentioned, if we can integrate any Jetson or any GPU-based ruggedized module on existing aircraft, right? So on your given scenario, 2 ISR drone and 1 LM, right? So basically, in ISR drone, there will be already an target identification and recon capacity, right? So can we use that information only for communicating and mesh networking and mission autonomy, or you need onboard AI capability for target identification?
Okay. So I will just break it down. Uh, so when I say that this chip or say Jetson being flashed and then put on the platform, there is a possibility sometimes these usually some of these platforms keep some space and weight and compute and power blank for upgrades, you know. So that is definitely what we are envisaging, that if you have to put something there, because you need to put something there. I mean, we are assuming that we need to put something there, then only we can create that sort of full autonomy.
No,
But
I am
then,
asking like we will put hardware definitely,
yeah,
and software also. Mission autonomy will be also there. So I
yeah.
am just asking about like target identification, because many drones nowadays have onboard target identification and AI model trained on that, right? So we can
Okay.
take use of that data, or you want other AI model to be trained on specific target
No,
from
we
our
can
side?
use whatever is existing, we can use. So I will just, I'm
Okay,
not sure
okay,
if you were part of the previous, one of the problem statement that I gave in the beginning was create a module which is able to do just the function, just the task of target detection, recognition, and identification. So
okay,
even if these current birds which come do not have anything, we are making something through this route only, so that all of them have this. And then once we have it with us, that data or that input definitely will be used by this. It doesn't, I mean, possibly need to create its own this thing. That's the whole purpose of making these things together. I
okay.
think you were not in the previous discussion. So
Yeah,
we
yeah,
are
I was
making,
not there.
yeah. So if we are making a different module which is just for this function, plus as you said, there might be some birds in future which might have these functions, if not full autonomy or full capability, at least partial capability to at least track or mark or something.
Okay,
So
okay,
we use
got
that.
it. So, same for terminal guidance. Let's say if we have a loitering mission, so there will be onboard terminal guidance. So, what you want from an AI module to autonomously collaborate with ISR and execute and successful handoff to their onboard TG, what we can provide right now.
Yes, correct. Bilkul. Yes, that's correct.
So, you don't
That,
want any terminal guidance designed from scratch, right? We can use onboard.
yes, whatever is there on those platforms, and obviously, if there is a LM, it will have a terminal.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's right.
so I will, when there is a specific query which comes to me that specify the bird and does it have this, and what is this, then I will tell you, okay, we are planning to do the prototyping on this, and this will have this capability, and we will use that.
Okay, okay, got it. And as well as for RF, right? The mesh communication RF system
Yes.
capability will be there on bird,
Existing.
but we have
Yes.
system level.
Yeah, so it will obviously they will all they all will interact on radio frequencies to their respective thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
I
because
mean, when they,
if you, yes, sir, yes.
yeah, please go ahead. So
So basically, if you want like mesh intelligence, right? We will need some mesh communication between two ISR and one LM.
yes, correct. So what we
So
have to
as
need,
in,
what
yeah,
need to create an architecture which enables this mesh architecture when we have individual RFs talking to respective GCSs.
So this mesh has to be treated by the module, right? I don't think the birds itself have any kind of mesh capability right now. So
No,
the mesh
they
has to be
don't
part of
have.
the module, right?
Yes, correct, sir. They don't have. So we have to create that architecture,
Okay. And
and
what
that is
happen
one of
if
the
only
fundamental thing, I think.
Okay. 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 And what is the bandwidth we can expect, or we can design for whatever is our use case?
So everything in the defense band, so I mean, just assume that defense band. Again, I will have to come back on the specific query that what birds we are buying and what frequency and what bands they are using, and I'll come back to you because I don't remember them offhand now.
No problem.
But please leave a query, and I will come back in, as fast as possible. Whatever data I can share.
No problem. That's okay. Thanks.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And in this, what is the procurement cycle? So right now we just come back to you with a solution document, or do you want to see some sort of UI, some kind of POC video or something, or you just want a solution document in right now?
I think this can be better answered by ADB, or sorry, ref from DIO or ADB, because I am the user. I mean, I'm just defining the problem to you. The process part per se, how it happens, I think that, and the timelines can be better clarified from someone who is the
Yes,
admin.
yes. We will be covering these aspects in general outreach.
Yes. So as clarified, please.
So, sir, if I have video of this whole mission autonomy, so can I share it to you in personal or anything for further discussion?
So
Because
please.
in disk we can send only doc proposal, right?
Yes, so please, as I said, you put this proposal in writing on the form, which the rep from DIO said, and then it comes to me. If the policy and the procedure allows, then we will share the contact where to share, and if it is not, then obviously you will get the answer. But at this point in time, I'm not in the position to, answer this.
Got it. Got it.
Yes. Great, then thanks. If that is done, and my 3 cases are done, so if the DIO or ADB permits, I can.
Oh, hi, sir. A quick question here. I joined around 4 p.m. So, just a quick question
Yes, please go
that
ahead.
no AI-enabled solution exists in service. So, what
Sorry.
are you referring here?
Yeah, just say again. Just say again, please.
Yeah, I'm adjusting. Yeah, you have mentioned that existing solution, if any, no AI-enabled solution exists in service.
So
So,
are
you
you
are referring
referring?
to what in this particular?
So
Yeah.
are you referring to the problem statements on multi-agent module?
Yes.
Yes. So when I say that currently there is no AI agent-based modules in service, and also the UAS platforms which are being procured have basic autonomy. I mean platform autonomy, but none of them have a sort of high level AI enablement where they can autonomously do their tasks. So that's what I mean to say in this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how so I don't see any problem statement here wherein you have referred about AI enabled cyber security, which is the current situations everywhere, whether it is irrespective of robotics bot
No,
or
so
any
I am
specific
not
device.
sure. Sorry, AI enabled cybersecurity might be some other, I mean, project, but are you, I mean, referring to this particular document?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the intent of? I mean, I have not
So
understood
you
the
have
question.
mentioned no AI-enabled
I mean,
solution exists in services. That means that includes cyber security threats as well. Yeah.
no. And when I say this in reference to this particular problem, in
Yeah.
reference to
Yes.
this particular challenge title, there is no solution.
Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Ajay Singh, I would like to point out this uh, session is for this particular problem statement, and whatsoever the
Yes.
officer has briefed, so please adhere to that problem statement, and any other problem statement is not under the current purview. So if your query is related to another problem statement, I request all
No,
the
referring to
participants
this
around
only.
to referring to this only. So, like,
Referring to this only,
kindly
sir.
specify your query, like to what aspect you need to be debriefed from the officer.
Sure, sir. I mean, the problem is with respect to ADITI 4.0 only, and this one only. So there was mentioned that no
This
AI
is
enabled.
a disk problem statement, sir. I request you to stand corrected that this is a disk problem statement, not an ADITI's problem statement. First
Okay.
of all, right, sir.
Got it, sir.
And any other query
Understood.
of yours specific to this problem statement?
Yeah, that he has already mentioned about no AI,
Right.
no AI enabled solution exists in the service. The reason behind us that we are into AI, and
Yeah,
we are
it's
also one of the.
your query is most welcome, and any other specific query to pertaining to this problem statement will be entertained through the edX website. There is a provision for all the participants there also.
Fair
Right?
point, sir. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right. Thanks a lot.
Uh,
So, if you permit, I can leave
uh,
the.
uh, right, sir. Sir, request, sir, is there any information for the problem statement number 3, sir? Development of standard GCS for US, sir. You mentioned, sir, the officer from RT9 will be briefing regarding this, sir.
Yes, because that was his problem. So there was problem statement 3 from RT8, that is me. I'm the colonel of that section. There was one
Right,
from
sir.
RT14, I think, who had just finished before me, which was about drone catcher or something. And this was particularly from RT9, Colonel RT9, or his GSO one should have been there, because I'm not in there. I'm in IT for the ATB, so I'm not actually aware who
Right,
is.
sir.
So I'll request if you can just give a call on landline, so the COD can sort of sort this out at this point.
Roger, sir. Because Colonel Bhati, I think there is some issue with ADB currently. So
Okay.
I think, Bhati, sir, are you there, sir?
If you have his mobile number, can you? I mean,
Right,
that.
sir. I have tried, sir. We'll try again, sir. Else, sir, we'll take it up on the next outreach session, sir. Then.
That is what
Um,
I was trying to say, that if you're not able to come through, then possibly you postpone it
right,
to a
sir.
day.
Yeah, yeah. We'll take it up on the next outreach, sir. It's on Monday, 20th. Sir.
Yeah, and just
Thank
pass the word to Nitin, and he will pass it to the directorate, the RT director.
Roger, sir.
Sir, I have a small query. Where do we send the mails regarding further queries on a problem statement?
Mr. Manish, we'll be getting on to that. So, if you have specific technical queries regarding this problem statement, it will be asked from the officer. Rest all it will be handled by the IO.
Yes, I'll mail. I just want to mail the queries.
Right. There is a provision for queries. If you have some technical queries as of now, else we can have that later on the portal itself. There is a specific portal for queries. Right then, the participants, if you don't have any other further queries, we'll take out with the general outreach.
Yeah, one last question. Mr. Bikram Aditya was talking about My Mind. What was the website he was, company he was talking about?
Yeah, so what I was referring to, this is a US development AI based firm called Shield AI.
Shield
Open
AI?
source. Shield AI, yes.
Okay.
Openly available, open source. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you.
Great, thanks.
So I got a question.
Yes, please.
So, may I know, is this recorded version of this available for further understanding?
So sorry,
Yeah,
I
it will
didn't.
be.
Okay.
Yeah, sir. I'll take up that. Participants, once again, if you have any specific technical query regarding this problem statement, you may go ahead and ask the officer, else it will be posted in the DIO's IDEX portal. We can, sir, if you would deem fit, you may log off, sir, now.
Thank you.
Right,
Grateful.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, sir. Jain, sir.
So just to clarify, it's going to be in the IDX website.
Yeah. So participants, I'll stop sharing the problem statement as of now, and I'll start sharing the general outreach session. And if it will be very brief, I think most of you would be very well aware of the IDEX framework and all. And for those who aren't aware, I'll take that PPT up. And first and foremost, I'll show you the schedule for the next outreach that is going to be held on 20th. And today there was one problem statement which was left out, which was development of standard GCS for US. It will be also taken on 20th of April, Monday itself. And that session is scheduled from morning 1000 hours to 1300 hours noon. So this is information, and please give me a moment. Hope my entire screen is visible. Can you please confirm?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the schedule for 20th April's outreach. So you can get this on the website itself. One more problem statement which was left out today will be added here. So kindly go through this, and I request you all to kindly join by 1000 hours using the link. And then regarding the query part, I think from M-Craig it was asked, right?
We'll be sharing the web link to the previous mails.
No, sir, regarding, see, this is the IDEX website. I think you all would be very well aware. So in the place of important notices, you might be seeing a scroll going through regarding DISC and ADITI Outreach 2026 schedule and last date to submit technical queries related to DISC 14 and ADITI 4, which is 21st of April, that is Tuesday. So I think this is visible to all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you click on this, so the schedule will appear like this, and beside the schedule in the last column, you will find the link. It's a hyperlink to the outreach sessions. Okay. So for Indian Army, this is the last outreach for the problem statements of Indian Army, that is on 28th April. I have already repeated this. And apart from these statements which are mentioned here, 3 more statements will be taken up. One is automatic snow chain system for Army B vehicles. Then comes weaponized hive of AI-enabled autonomous dogs for SF with manned and unmanned teaming, that is MUMTI. And the third, which was left out today, was development of standard GCS for US. These 3 will also be covered on 20th of April itself. Then for the part of technical queries, how to put up technical queries, you are seeing this last date to submit technical queries. You will have to click on this, then this link will open as this. I hope this is visible to all of you.
Yeah.
Can you please confirm the same? Right. So
Yes,
you
sir.
will fill out this form whatsoever that particular challenge you have and the particular query. So you can fill up the number of queries you have, and then you can submit the same. We'll receive these queries, and at the end, before 4th of May, that is the last submission day of the application for the challenges DIS 14 and ADITI 4, we'll try to address your queries back once we have received the same from the nodal officers. So I hope it's clear.
Yeah.
Right. So now moving on to the general outreach, I'll keep it brief. So I hope the presentation is also visible.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So IDEX stands for Innovation for Defense Excellence. It's the fund which is managed by the Defense of Innovation Organization, and it comes under the Department of Defense Production. So we have 3 grant schemes: DISC, ADITI, OC. So we are currently going ahead with DISC and ADITI. We are currently having the outreach sessions for DISC 14 and ADITI 4. We have grants up to 1.5 CR Spark grant in DISC and 25 CR in ADITI. So ADITI is mostly focused on the deep tech which is required by the forces, and DISC also is important, and many prominent problem statements are taken up in DISC. So this is a brief about DIO and the board. So moving ahead. So this is how the framework of DIO works, and we get the Spark grant to the innovator, and the innovator has to bring upon the matching contribution an equivalent amount or greater than the Spark grant. So that matching contribution has to be brought by the innovator itself, and then IP evaluation is being done, and later on we'll move on to the figures of the A1 grants and the procurement done. And we have the network of partner incubators and IDEX investor hub for facilitating the matching contribution things and regarding the techno financial appraisal documents, etc. So you might be aware of the various domains. So these are some of the domains. I won't linger upon that. So this is the process flow. So initially we didn't have the point number 1, which is challenge curation. It's a vision of Secretary DP. So we have done challenge curation. It involves the removal of duplicity among challenges, among problem statements, then focusing more on tech rather than product, and then moving on to dual use, that is translating tech from military to civil as well. So that is the crux of curation of challenges. Then the launch and outreach, we are currently at step 2. Then we'll have the receipt of applications, which will be on your part, and that is to remind all of you, that is last date is 4th of May. Then there will be an eligibility check and shortlisting, and then there will be a provisional winner selection. After the PDS and PRU compliance, that is problem definition statement and product requirement unit compliance, you will be declared as the winner, and then the milestone development starts, which is from MS0 to MS5. Then goes to the SSCT trials or the user trials, and then the procurement is awarded. So all in all, the ideal average timeline is 24 months. Then, as I mentioned in slide 2, the PIs and IDEX Investor Hub. So this is a brief. We have a network of 21 PIs, which involves IITs, etc. And they help in the techno-financial appraisal documents and milestone-based validations. For milestone to get covered and closed, we require the concurrences of the nodal officer as well as the PI. And then there is the IDEX Investor Hub. Then we have nodal agencies and technology domains over, it's like cross domains and all of the DPSUs and all the tri services, etc. We have those, and these are the primary technology focus with emerging technologies as well, and the existing technologies which are of crucial importance. Then this is the performance snapshot. These are the figures. So approx value of current AON is approx 3,800 crores, and the procurement award value is of 2,300 crores. So that's it. I hope everything is clear now, and any query might be taken up right now, or it might be posted in the portal which I have briefed about. Thank you.
So I have a question regarding open challenge.
Right. Please go ahead.
So we applied for we have actually posted approximately 3 to 4 open challenges, and we'd like to know whom can we get in touch with from your side regarding these challenges.
See, once we receive an application, it goes under a lot of scrutiny, and it goes up to the nodal agency. So if nodal agency deems fit that they want to go ahead with your even listening to your proposal, that is called as HPSC, where you give a presentation to the nodal agency. So until and unless we receive that from the nodal agency, that your proposal is shortlisted for HPSC presentation.
Yes.
So it will be like until and unless that comes to us, we'll be unaware like when your proposal will be shortlisted. May I please know like when did you submit?
We are submitted it like 10 months back.
Right. So it might be current under the current rolling. I think it would be like OC 16. OC 16. Did you apply in OC 16 or 17?
Must be 16.
So
OC
it's under process and it's not as of uh, so
Yes, sir.
it's under rolling, and once we receive the input from the nodal agency, it will be like we'll be able to answer that.
Yes, because we were working with couple of regimental headquarters, and they asked us if it is possible to come through IDX. So that's the reason we applied it through IDX. So that's why.
Right, I understand, and I I'll be able to answer that question, and after like if we get that from the nodal agency for HPSC shortlist.
Okay, okay. Is there any mail ID I can get in touch with from your side?
Okay, if you have any particular query regarding this outreach session, you can post there.
Yes,
Else,
sir.
I'll provide you one email ID in the chat
Yes,
box.
sir.
You can send your email to that. Apart from the outreach session queries,
Got it, sir.
right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, if there are no further queries, we may end the session, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I request you to kindly join the session for outreach on 20th. It's from 1000 hours to 1300 hours. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.